This video, I want to talk to you about the Janome Skyline S6 Anniversary Edition. The Anniversary Edition is the latest model out in the S6 series. It's got a lot of great features, so let's take a look and give you a brief overview of what all this machine can do for you. First thing we're going to notice, this machine is a little bit larger than your average sewing machine. You've got a lot more throat space built in. From our needle to the inside of the sewing arm is going to be about 8 1/4 inches. Your average sewing machine is around 5 to 5 1/2, so you got more room to keep all your quilting, all your garments, anything you're working with. It's more comfortable sewing at, having that larger area. We're going to have 196 sewing stitches built in. We have our planogram built in on it. We'll zoom in a minute and show you all the stitches that's on this machine. It's extremely easy to pull these stitches up, change the length and the width on all the sewing patterns. The width on all the sewing patterns, you can go up to 9 millimeters on the stitch width on this machine. And that's the widest you can get on any Janome sewing machine that's out there. You're going to have alphabets built in for doing your garment tags, your quilt labels, initials on dress shirts and things of that nature. The machine is extremely easy to operate. It's extremely easy to thread. I've got the top winding bobbin here. I also have my horizontal spool pin built in, and everything is channeled for me, so make sure I get the thread in all the tensions where I need to get it. As we're threading, we just make sure we raise that presser foot up, we release our tension disc so we can get the thread in the tensions, and we'll just follow the diagram all the way down to our needle. Now, we'll have a built-in needle threader on the S6 Anniversary Edition. I have the automatic tensions built in, and we can override automatic setting if we need to do that. And there's times you'll want to do that. The S6 has a lot of nice convenience features built in as well. One being, I've got the push button scissor. I can push a button, it snips the bobbin and the top thread for me. That is extremely handy. There's no telling how many times when you're doing a project that you go and grab your scissors to snip threads. You don't have to do that anymore with the built-in scissor. I've got needle up, needle down. There's times I want my needle to stop in the fabric if I'm turning a corner, if I'm appliquing something. And there's times I want to make sure when I let off my foot control, or I can use my start stop button, I want the needle to stop out of the fabric. So I make sure I don't forget, jerk my fabric. I could tear a hole in the fabric, bend a needle, or even break a needle. 6th Anniversary Edition has the auto lock feature built in. You push this button and it's going to tie the stitch off underneath for me, so that's hidden and out of the way. No more ugly back tack. I do have traditional reverse, but you'll probably never use that again having the auto lock feature built in. The S6 will have the superior feeding system. This is the same feed dog systems built in on the Continental series. You have the big metal needle plate. Our bed of the machine has a ruler built in, so it helps me with seam allowances. I can screw in a seam guide on the needle plate, or you can use a magnetic seam guide on this machine with no problem whatsoever. I really do like as well, we do have the adjustable pressure that we can regulate the amount of force being pressed down onto my presser feet. Now, I do have the snap-on, snap-off presser feet. This machine takes all the 9 millimeter presser feet, even the AccuFeed system, just like the top of the line machines do. So that's the nice thing about any of the S6 series, you're able to do that. I have the top drop-in bobbin with the clear cover, and I can see how much bobbin thread that I have on the machine at any given time, so I make sure I don't run out. I really do like how the accessory tray is on this machine, because you're sitting down, you're looking down at your accessory tray, and the door opens toward me, so I can open it up, look down, see what all that I need. Folks, this machine is loaded with accessories. You're going to have all kinds of things right out of the box to work with. And then when I want to do free arm sewing, all I have to do is pull this out. I have a little bit larger arm as well for hemming pants, a shirt sleeve, and things of that nature. I can get my embellishment further up the shirt sleeve or the pant leg because I have a larger free arm. No more screws to worry with about taking our needle plate out. I have a button here that I push, and it's going to pop that needle plate open for me. The S6 also will have the drop feed system. I can hit a lever and it's going to drop my feed dogs out of the way if I'm darning a hoe. If I'm getting into doing free motion quilting, I'm able to do that without the feed dogs feeding my material. On the front of the machine, I can override the speed of the machine. Now the S6 will come with foot control, but you can use it with or without the foot control. I can hit my start stop button. If I need to back that speed down for a certain project, maybe I'm in a tight area, I can do that, or I can speed it up. Now it will operate at a maximum 1,000 stitches per minute, which is super fast. You're gonna really like that about the S6. I really do like the bigger touchpad on this machine. Is a lot of information, but it's readily available to me. So if I want to change what mode I'm in, all the stitches are located in a certain mode on our planogram. I can hit mode and I know I'm in this area of stitches, which is all basically my utility stitches. Everything's kind of categorized together. Most of my utility, a lot of my quilting is categorized together, and then all my different alphabet fonts are together. There are sensors built in on the S6 that knows what needle plate I have on it. It will come with the straight stitch needle plate as well as your standard plate. So when I take my standard plate off and put the straight stitch plate on, the machine automatically knows what I've got on. And there is a mode dedicated just for the straight stitch needle plate. So if I want to achieve a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I can hit one button, it's going to move my needle over for me to exact 1/4 inch. If I have my standard plate on the machine, and let's say I want to get up against cording, piping, maybe I'm doing a zipper, a metal, plastic part of a zipper, there's 91 different needle positions. I can move right of center or left of center and get that needle right up on whatever that is that I'm doing. You can't find that on a lot of machines that's out there. But on our touchpad, we will have the ability to see a lot of information, easy get to all the components of the machine. I'll know exactly what stitch I'm on. It will show me a little picture of the stitch. It tells me a number, and it will recommend the presser foot that I need to have on the machine at any given time for doing this particular stitch. The S6 will allow me to override the width and the length, and that's right here in front of me, so I can adjust that width or the length to where I want it. On the S6, I do have convenience of my popular stitches right here I can hit, and then I have a numeric keypad, so if I want to hit a certain number of stitch and fast forward through the planogram, I'm able to do that, and it pulls that stitch up for me and it'll show me on the screen. I can do a lot with every stitch. On this machine, I can mirror image, I can elongate it. There are twin needle stitches built in on this particular machine. There will be an extra spool pin for doing twin needle sewing. There is a lock built in, so if you have little ones around or you just want to make sure you get up for a minute and walk off, you don't want anybody to do anything, push a button, there was no way the machine will operate when it's in lock mode. That's a great safety feature to have on this machine. There are also things I can do to change things on the hard drive of the machine just by hitting this button here. You're not going to erase anything off the hard drive, don't worry about that, but I can go in if I want to say don't want it to beep. There's a lot of other things that we can do right there. So it's really convenient, really easy for me to operate this machine and pull up everything that I need to. Now we're going to zoom in. I'm just going to briefly show you all the stitches blown up so you can see all the nice stitches it comes with the S6. The Skyline S6 is going to give us a lot of stitches built in, all the different categories from garment sewing, quilting, and even doing some lettering is built in on this machine. We'll have decorative stitches built in. On the machine, we're able to move, as we said earlier, our needle left or right of center. So any of these stitches are straight stitches. I can actually move that stitch over, move my needle over if I'm wanting to get close to a zipper, cording or piping or something like that. We will have a button I can hit. For you quilters, you'll love this. It'll actually move the needle over to a 1/4 inch. I will have a stretch straight stitch built in. It sews 2 stitches forward and 1 reverse. It's going to automatically back tack that stitch for me. You'll tear the fabric before that stitch will pop at it. It's so secure. And then I'll have overcasting stitches built in, blind hems. I have all these different styles of one-step buttonholes that are built in. It does come with a special buttonhole attachment. So if I'm wanting to do a certain size button, it's going to size it every time perfectly to the button that I'm working with. I will have different applique stitches built in on the S6 Anniversary Edition, and some of them are thicker than the others. You can get that to your liking, and having the needle up, needle down function on this machine is great because I can have that needle stop in my fabric as I'm turning corners, points, and things of that nature. There's heirloom stitches built in. You get a wing needle. That's a really pretty stitch that you install into material. And then I have all these different decorative, and I get into the scallop family. Then as I go to mode 2, all I have to do on my screen is just hit the mode button. It takes me over into mode mode too. And I have different quilting stitches. I have the old-timey feather stitch or briar stitch many times this is called. Other decorative stitches built in. We can memorize decorative patterns if we want to make a certain border. And then I have all these different alphabet fonts built in that I can do quilt tags, garment labels, and things of that nature. For my straight stitch needle plate, I do have several features built in. When I have the straight stitch needle plate on it, the machine will automatically take me in to that mode. I can hit these different buttons that moves my needle over for me, doing different things with the straight stitch on this machine. You'll really love that feature because I never have to worry anymore about which needle plate I have on it and hitting a stitch. It may allow my needle to hit the plate. That's a great thing to have on this machine. On our keypad, it's a lot of information built in for us. It's really easy to get to. The machine is going to show me what stitch that I'm on. It shows me a little picture of it. It recognizes here I need to have what particular foot. All the Janome feet have letters indented into them, so I'll know which foot I need to put on the machine. I don't have to worry about hitting the foot or anything like that. I can adjust my width and the length on all the sewing patterns right here in front of me. I will have popular stitches built in if I want to move my needle over, if I want to go into the stretch straight stitch, doing a zigzag, those type of things. I'm able to do that and it gets me right to that stitch. I will have an elongation feature on the scallop family, so to actually blow that up, elongate the length and the width for me. And if I want to pull up a certain number stitch, I can reference my planogram and dial up the number right here on my keypad. I don't have to hit arrow buttons to keep going to the stitch. I can fast forward right to it. I will have the mirror image feature. This basically will almost double the amount of stitches, especially when you get to some of the decorative stitches, even some of the quilting stitches. Flipping that stitch around actually sometimes makes it look different, but there may be something in the way, maybe a pocket, a button, or something like that, and you maybe just want to use it as a decorative effect. I can go in on my machine and change things on the hard drive of the machine. You're not going to erase anything, but maybe you don't want it to beep. I can change that and just keep fast forwarding through that. I do like the fact I can lock the machine if I need to, especially if you have little ones around. You just want to make sure nobody hits the foot control or anything like that. It's a great safety feature to have on the Skyline S6. Now let's do a little bit of sewing on the S6. I want to show you just how durable this machine is. The feeding system on this machine you're really going to like. The 7-point feed dog system that's on it. I've got 8 layers of denim here that I'm working with. I have extra high lift under my presser foot so I can get that thicker material up under it. I'm going to back the stitch down. I'm going to go to a straight stitch just for demonstration purposes and show you. This machine has a lot of needle penetrating power, and then we'll speed up and show you just how fast it can go. But having these automatic tensions is great to have. And the top drop-in bobbin system is going to allow me to crawl down on 2 fabrics. It'll crawl up and over fabrics. It's really easy for me to adjust my material and keep it straight because those big feed dogs, that wide feed dog system is actually helping me to feed the materials with no problem whatsoever. Machine is super quiet. It's going to feed great. Then I'm going to put this cotton down. This is full speed. And then I'm going to hit my auto lock feature. It's going to tie that stitch off for me underneath. It's back tacking that stitch underneath so it's hidden and out of the way. And then I'm going to hit my scissor. It's going to snip that bobbin and top thread for me. And then I've sewn 8 layers of denim to a stretch material to a cotton with no problem whatsoever. I'm not having to worry about changing anything on the machine. Ken Sewing Center is your authorized Janome dealer. We carry everything for the Skyline S6. We can compare this model to any other model in the Janome line and help you find the right machine for you. There's a lot of similar models or models above this one. We want to help you find what you need, and we want to be your dealer. Check it out on our website or give us a call anytime. We'll be glad to help you.